Hello, Richard.
All right, I'm going to put us live on Facebook. So give me a moment, family, and we will get rolling. All right. We are going live on Facebook. There we go. So I know we are already live on Facebook, but give me a moment because I got to X out of this real quick. All right. So hey, everyone on Facebook as well as the webinar. We are on the Enter Shaolin members Q&A webinar, which we've also been putting on Facebook. So for some of our fans that are on Facebook, you can also get to see a little bit inside of Enter Shaolin and how we run things. Sifu Larry is here, but he's behind this mysterious wall over here, and he'll be manning the Facebook chat as well as working on getting our Friday update ready for us. And Sifu Phu is here with us at his lovely house because he's going to be taking out his wife a little bit later on. So we decided to have him not come in so he can save a little bit time with traveling and everything like that. And let's see, we have Albin on, Amar, Caleb, Catherine, Dominic, Karthik, Michael, Richard, Rob, Sifu Larry, and Terry Hall. So welcome everyone. For those of you that are on Facebook, if you have any questions, just put it in the little chat that's below the video, and Sifu Larry will make sure to get the questions over to me, and I will get them to Sifu Phu so we can help you out. For those of you that are live on the webinar on Zoom with us, just make sure if you have a question, use the Q&A spot. And that'll just help us be able to decipher just general chatting from the actual questions and just make it a little bit easier for everyone. And then if you want to chat with everyone, just make sure you choose all panelists and attendees. If you just want it to go to us, just choose all panelists. So that's about it real quick. And yeah, so for those of you that have been following our weekly updates, we did something a little bit different last week. Our first time not releasing any new content. Thankfully, no one panicked and freaked out. It seemed like everyone thought it was a good idea. We decided after talking with some of our members that have been sending in different things that it's best for us one time a month to do like a month in review of everything that we put out and give everyone the ability to be able to, let me turn off that real quick, give everyone the ability to go back and look at everything that they've already learned and work on that again. Because what we've been noticing is that a lot of times people go through the training and they're like, oh, I did that, I'm done. But you're not done. Even if we did like two bi-weekly reviews, you would still not be done. You always want to go back and rework on those techniques. It's not going to take one time. It's going to take 10,000 times to be good at something. So just remember, take it easy. Just because there's new content, don't feel rushed. Don't feel like you have to go and learn that stuff right away. The stuff's always going to be on the site for you, and it's always going to be available to you to go back and revisit. That's the beauty of the online training, is you can really go at your own pace, and you can always go back and revisit the lessons as much as you need to be able to get the concepts down. So thank you, Sifu Phu, for coming and being able to make it to this webinar. And while we're waiting for questions from the attendees here, I'm going to go ahead and pull up some of the questions that we got in our email. So give me a moment. Let's see. All right. So Tuan says, in your coveted book, Ngo Dac Na Systems, he's an intro member, which is a free member for those of you that are not familiar with our different membership levels. He says, you mentioned that there are 3 things we must practice: physique, technique, and sensitivity. While you have showed many videos on techniques, there is no video saying about physique yet. Please give us a typical weekly workout so that we can improve our level. One more thing, in the book, you said that one should focus on training to tendons rather than muscle. Please tell us the exercise to train our tendons, since I cannot find anything on this internet. One thing I will say real quick, Tuan, is if you upgrade, whether it's to our Ngo Dac Na 101 course or to the full membership, you will actually see we have tons of training that cover sensitivity as well as the physique portion. However, since we have this lovely webinar, Sifu Phu, is there anything that you can give him some great examples for working on his physique?
The best thing I tell is I isometric techniques. If you don't have time to do push-ups, sit-ups, and all that stuff, I mean, they're good. One of the best things that you can do is take a low horse stance. Is basically get your feet out wider than your shoulders, drop your hips as low as your knees, stay in that position and hold it, and then put your hands like you're praying. Compress your palms together, have it forward a little bit at the same time. In the low horse stance, it's going to work your whole entire body. It's going to work your muscles as well as your tendons. And the main thing is going to hit your tendons first, and that's what we really want. So there are tons of exercises, like CJ Jamie said. We have tons of it on the videos on our site. So that's kind of something that, you know, if you're a member, you would see. But if you want to just get a basic idea of feeling what you need to do, this is the simplest, you know, non-brainer type of thing. Hands here. Get your wrist in different angles, so you can go from horizontal to slightly changing higher or lower. That's going to change the way you work your muscle group. Go in a low horse stance. Make sure your hips are no lower than your knees. Go to your knees or higher, depending on your level of conditioning. If you are strong, you would stay to the level. If you're not able to take it as much, you can go higher. But compress, okay? Push your fingers together, put your thumbs together. That's got like a ball that you're trying to squish and just. You'll feel the blood rush in your muscles, in your head, in your heart, in your everything. It's a great exercise to learn from the very beginning in terms of a no-brainer type of thing. It doesn't take much to do. It's very easy to do. Very good for you as well. But there are other exercises that we do in terms of like how to condition turning and all that stuff, which I'm not going into, but that's your one free kind of what I need to do. That's what you want to do to train your physical body. But yeah, we have tons and tons of training on that. In terms of your sensitivity training, that's on the site as well. And you need a partner for that. Okay, in terms of any type of sensitivity, we always need a partner because you need someone to move energy on you so you can feel it.
Absolutely. And we actually, Sifu,
Hello?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Sifu?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, awesome. I wasn't sure if you were like, hello.
Yes.
For those of you that are following us on our email list and stuff like that, Sifu Larry actually just
I didn't hear you.
Sifu Larry just put out an article on our blog. You can go to entershaolin.com/blog and check it out. And it's talking about training online, and it covers the 3 pillars of training that Sifu Phu just kind of alluded to a little bit right there. And then it also covers, 7 different ways that you can find a training partner, which will help you work on your sensitivity. And for those of you that are on the site and you're wondering where are all these exercises, if you haven't checked out the core training section in the training hall, that is where it's at. And then for those of you that are on our Ngo Dac Na 101 course, you'll notice that every week you usually have something from the core training as well. And basically, in short, it's calisthenics. It's using your body to work on your muscles, mainly your tendons though, primarily, and to be able to get you more pliable, flexible, and all that good stuff. All right. Yes, Dominic, his connection is a little funky monkey, but we're going to work with it. We're going to roll with it. And he's moving on us.
I'm actually going to move to a better place.
Awesome. He's moving. All right, so let me see what else we have in the questions while we're waiting for. For those of you that don't know, this past week, Sifu, Larry's family, and my family, as well as one of our friends' family, all went camping in Assateague, Maryland. It was really, really fun and really, really challenging. For those of you that have been following my story, you know that I have a prior shoulder injury. It was dislocated back in 2011, and I was boogie boarding on, it was like my second day of boogie boarding, and my shoulder got popped out by a wave, and I wasn't even overextended. So that was really fun. Thankfully, I did not have to go to the hospital or anything like that. Sifu, Larry, and I did the same thing we did the last time that happened, which was last year at the gym when we pushed it a little too hard. And we basically used our Qigong and Tai Chi breathing and just paying attention to where the energy blockage was. And we were able to pop it back in 30 minutes instead of an hour. So that was awesome. Also, another cool report is it doesn't feel like, if I didn't remember that actually happened, it doesn't feel like it popped out recently. So that's really amazing. And I attribute that to just the things that we're doing with the different energy work with the Qigong and the Tai Chi, as well as my own diet, that are helping me to be able to heal a lot faster. So that's really cool. For those of you that have ever had shoulder injuries, it sucks. And you do have to be really, really careful and diligent to keep rehabbing it and rehabilitating it over time. So let me see what else we have for a question. Oh, and real quick, while I'm still looking for some more questions, for those of you that have not signed up for our seminar, we have 23 spots left out of the 30. And if you haven't checked out the details on that, you can go to entershaolin.com/seminar. It's going to be in Washington, D.C. on September 15th, 16th, and 17th. So we look forward to seeing all the people that have already signed up, and we hope to see the rest of you there as well. We have 2 different options. You have the regular seminar and the VIP. The VIP is for people that want to get certified in Ngo Dac Na, or maybe not necessarily right away, because I was talking to one of our members the other day, and she's like, I don't know if I'm ready. And I'm like, don't worry, it's not going to be like overnight. Like, you're not going to go to this one seminar and then all of a sudden you're ready to get certified. It's going to be a process. It's just one of the prerequisites to becoming a certified trainer, if you want to become a teacher and stuff like that. So there's 2 options there. We also have some payment plans available. And for our Abbott members, it is 15% off of all the prices. So that's a little extra bonus for our lifetime members. So we have a question from Amar. He says, just for curiosity, do we cover muscle tendon changing and Maro brainwashing Qigong?
Say it again.
He said, out of curiosity, do we cover muscle tendon changing and Maro brainwashing Qigong?
Marrow or marrow?
Marrow.
Bone
marrow.
Let me look at this. I see someone else. Do we cover muscle tendon changing?
Mm-hmm.
I don't go into the depth of the marrow brainwashing Qigong. I don't necessarily believe in that. I believe in the mind control of what your thoughts are. That is really what your energy is based on. I always say, mind your thoughts, because that controls your emotion. Mind your emotion, because that controls your heart rate. Mind your heart rate, because that controls your blood flow. Mind your blood flow, because that controls your energy. So your thoughts is a direct response to how your body's going to feel, or your emotion's going to feel, and then that's going to in turn respond how your heart is, and then that returns, gets your energy flow. So that to me is how you can get your energy based on how your thoughts, and now your body's connected to it too. There's a fact that your brain controls the body, but the body stimulates the brain. Okay, I don't know if a lot of people know this, but our brain is fed through our body. The more stimulation we feel, the more the brain senses, the more active it becomes. That's how we develop brain control, how we develop the energy in our body through the brain. But to do what some of the people like I hear about, emptying the mind and get the spirit in, and I don't believe in that, where your spirit gets better unless their spirit's talking about the energy. Sometimes I hear people talking about spirit in terms of this outside influence that actually influence you, and I don't believe in that. I believe that you are in control of your body. Your vessel is yours, and your mind is that control into the vessel. So there's nothing outside that can influence you. Okay, so apart from God's divine spirit, but I'm not talking about that. People talk about outside that, and again, there's nothing outside that to me that can influence your body. It's you who allows it. So it's your thoughts that does it.
Yeah, absolutely. Your thoughts can definitely take captive of you. It's just like the power of the tongue. You can speak life or you can speak death over someone. So in your mind, the same thing, your thoughts are the same way. Those are just words inside of your head. So it's definitely something you have to monitor and be careful of. And not just like what you're saying or thinking, but what are the visual images or the verbiages that you're listening to, whether it's music, TV, reading, that kind of stuff. Like, what are you allowing inside of you? Because that's going to be something that really can change your brain, the way you think, and the way you feel about things as well. So Rob says, any plans for a European seminar? We have plans for all kinds of seminars. It really is just dependent on, one, can we afford to actually do it? Two, is there enough interest to be able to go out there and do it? And that's really it. It really just comes down to that. As we make more money and the site gets bigger, we'll be able to do a lot more seminars just because we'll be able to have the extra income to be able to do so. So even if it's just 10 people in Europe that want to come and we need to, get some tax write-offs and stuff like that, we'll be able to fly over there and do all those things. But for right now, I would say mostly we're going to be sticking to the US, probably for at least the next year. God willing, maybe not after that. Sifu goes out to Israel because he has a student that helps him to be able to go out there and put everything on. And there's already an established school out there for him to be able to teach and stuff like that. So it's just a matter of money versus, the ability to go and do that. So we definitely would want to go to Europe and be able to do that. It's just a matter of when and how.
And to answer the question that you were saying before, I don't know if I'm ready. One student of mine said the same thing about when he was training. He's like, I want to train this and I want to train that. I was like, you can't be ready. Just come ready.
Right. Just come ready. Absolutely.
Okay? It's you just have to be coming ready to learn, and then you're going to learn at your own pace. This isn't about you having to meet the requirements of what's there. It's about you learning how to get to that requirement that's there. You don't
absolutely.
be at that level. You have to learn how to get to that level, and that comes with, first, the beginning is the willingness to accept and learn, and then the second part is to dedicate to perfecting that technique.
Absolutely. Yeah. And Sumi actually is going to go ahead and do the VIP, even though she's like, I don't feel ready yet. But I was like, you know what, even if you're going to work with a training partner or any kind of stuff like this, it's going to help you be able to teach those principles to them, which in long term might end up be something that you want to teach on a regular basis as well. So even if you're just looking to be able to relate this information to a friend or a brother, sister, child, whatever, that's a little added bonus to that as well. And then I'll also say the reason we picked Washington, D.C. Is because it is definitely very international friendly. So for those of you that are overseas and different places in the world, feel free to come. There's an international airport. We made sure to be close by the airports and everything like that. So don't let, a little airplane trip scare you for coming over, because we would love to have you. All right. So Amar says, I'm on the 10 basic Qigong. Awesome. That's a good place to start, and it's a great foundation to build with your Qigong practice. Tuan says, I would like to see your grandpa's image. We would too. We're waiting for Sifu to send us a picture so we can put it on the site.
I have a picture of me and my grandfather when we were younger.
Do you?
Yeah. Let me see if I have it.
He's gonna bring it, but we need to get one for the site too. So we need to scan one, and one of his grandfather and his uncle as well, because his uncle helped him with a lot of stuff as well. So that'd be great to put them on our about page and be able to honor them.
I have to look for it in my house. I have it somewhere. I thought I had it accessible nearby, but we moved.
Well, when you get a chance, bring us in one, and I'll make a copy of it so we can put it on the site, Sifu.
All right.
He says he is the Sifu of our Sifu anyway. I feel a bit of disrespect to not know the grand Sifu image. Don't be disrespected. Don't worry, we're gonna get to it. It's gonna be on our about page, because it's definitely a good part of why we are here today, being able to share this awesome system with all of you.
Is Tan Lee Vietnamese?
I don't know. Tan Lee, are you Vietnamese? Let us know. You can put it in the chat though. Don't put it in the Q&A. Put it in the chat for me, please. He also wanted to know, could Sifu demo the exercise to train our tendons? Actually, you just missed that, because we did cover that. So if you just got on, you can watch it on the replay. It is there for you. We did it. Well, that was one of the first questions we covered.
Xiao-Am, I don't know how old you are, but if you're older than me.
Oh, he said that line was too bad. Can you re-demonstrate it? Because apparently it was really choppy during that time, so they couldn't see it.
All right, so I'll bring it out a little bit wider so you can kind of see it. But basically, I'll even show you the full view of it. So if you can see, I'll bring it down a little. The goal is to do a low horse stance to where your feet's wider than your shoulders, hips go to the knees, and when you go down, don't do this. You're not bending. You want to stay as straight as possible. Draw yourself down from that. Hands fold together like you're praying, so you can see here like this. Compress, keep your body upright. Now, changing the angle in your arms from like horizontal to up to out and in, they change the way you hold your tendons, and same thing with your height. The stronger you are, the lower you can go. The weaker you are, the higher you would go. But for the most part, you want to compress and put the stress on the body that works the tendons very, very hard. A lot of people can't even do it for 1 minute. It's a very, very tough exercise. You have to learn to build yourself up. Doing for 1 minute, you're going to find like, I can't even do this. A lot of people can't stay in a low horse stance for 1 minute. You have to condition yourself to do that. But compress the arm in. Try to push the palms to the palms, fingers to fingers, thumb to the thumb. Take a deep breath. Keep your body structure right. Make sure you're upright. And just compress. Feel the back. Feel the shoulders. Feel the chest. You want to feel every part of your muscle and your tendons. Just to create compression. Push your abs in, like tense it up like someone's about to punch you. Hold that there. You don't have to worry about your legs. If you do the low horse stance, that's actually going to do it for you. But the arms, you want to compress like that, and then you'll develop your tendons very, very well through that.
Awesome. So he also says, any plan for a seminar in Vietnam? Once again, that just goes back to, if we have enough people that are interested and the money, how much would it cost to invite Sifu here for 2-day seminar? It wouldn't just be Sifu. You would have to do all of our team plus our camera crew, because we need to be able to have everyone there to be able to help Sifu with the teaching, help with the videoing and all that stuff like that. I would say conservatively, probably close to $10,000. That would be conservative. Maybe a little bit less, because I've never priced flights over to Vietnam. So
Vietnam's expensive to go to Vietnam.
I'll have to check into that and get back to you. But I would say conservatively, that would probably be pretty close between, room, board, flights, all that good stuff.
Then chào anh khỏe không anh?
All right. Oh, yes, he did say he is Vietnamese, and he's 55 years old.
Oh, he's my older brother.
And he says he's surprised you could speak Vietnamese. You shouldn't be. He's from Vietnam.
Em biết nói tiếng Việt nhưng mà em quên nhiều.
I have no idea what he said, but you did.
I know I speak Vietnamese, but I forgot a lot of it.
Yeah, I'm sure you have. Because you've been over here since, how old were you when you came?
I was 4.
Wow, yeah, so that's a long time ago.
Well, for 20 years now.
20 years, yes. He's 24.
Just inside. I'm 26.
All right, so we like to have fun on these. So if you ever get on here, you're going to learn, you're going to laugh, and hopefully you'll enjoy yourselves as well. So Karthik says, I see a seminar announcement sent to folks last week or so. Do we have a list of trainings planned for the 2.5 days? Yes, that is all on the seminar page. That's entershaolin.com/seminar. Is there a prerequisite to the knowledge for someone to attend the VIP training? No. Primarily if you've been following around like the Ngo Dac Na section, if you've been doing the Ngo Dac Na 101 course, you should have a pretty good understanding of what we're going to cover. And if you don't, guess what? We're going to teach you. So don't worry about it. Just come. He also said he started the Kung Fu Tai Chi a year back. Yes, you're eligible. All of our seminars, we do our best to be able to cater to everyone, no matter what level they're at. You're going to learn something. We've had people that have been training for 30, 40 years come to our seminars, and they're blown away just by the basic stuff, because it's just a lot different with the energy and physics principles that we teach. It'll just help refine what you're doing. Go ahead, Sifu.
One of the things that when I teach, I always go over principles. Okay, and that's what makes the difference. It's not about mimicking moves. Okay, I can teach you how to fish, or I can give you a fish. I go on teaching you how to fish. I teach you principles, so you can understand what you're doing, why it's right, and why it can be wrong if you don't do it right, and what is the common wrongness that people do. And we always go on principles. Always about that, and that shows that you understand what you're doing, and it shows that you can grow from what you're doing, and that you can see the errors and learn how to correct what you're doing. That's what you really want. In the seminars that we do, that I do all the time when I teach, is I always teach through principles, because principles are facts. Okay, how you move from this hand to this hand to this, that's all just combinations. That's saying like 6 plus 4 is 10. That's great. Okay, 7, 3 is 10 too. 9 and 1 is 10. 8 and 2 is 10. You know, it doesn't matter how you do it, but you follow the principles that this must do this to equal this to get to this. So if 10 is perfect number, then you need to make sure that whatever it is you're doing, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 equals 10. So you can see 20 divided by 2 is 10. When you get good, it doesn't matter how you approach it. You have to follow the principles. So all the moves that people do, that's fine and dandy. That's great. But without the principle behind it, that can fail you. That's why a lot of people practice techniques, and then they go into combat. They can be like, how come this didn't work? Because your energy principle might be wrong. And that's where the difference comes into play. You must learn how to do the energy principle right. And so we teach you that. It's the fundamental. I just came back from Virginia this weekend, and I was teaching my cousin, and he's a die-hard martial artist who's been training for quite a long time. He travels to Japan, learns from martial artists around Japan, the greatest teachers. And, you know, I was working with him, and I just went over principles, you know, and he's got good understanding of what he's doing. But in terms of the energy principle, it was off. And I corrected it, and I told him, listen, this isn't about you conforming to my style. This isn't what it's about. It's about you learning how to move the energy right and making what you do better. Okay, because it's not about you conforming. You know, that's why our principles in Ngo Dac Na is don't let style define you, let energy refine you. Okay, it doesn't matter. Any style you do, whatever you say it is, it's just a word. It's how you move that matters. Okay, I don't care if it's Chinese, Japanese, American, French, Italian, and I'm not talking food. I'm talking martial arts. That's irrelevant. It's how you move. I always tell my students, a punch is a punch is a punch is a punch. Okay, whether you call it kung fu, whether you call it karate, if you're doing this, if you're doing this, if you're boxing, it doesn't matter. The question is, how are you moving within that with the energy right? Is your structural integrity right? Are you moving through the points that you need to do properly? That's what matters. Okay, it's irrelevant where it comes from. It's irrelevant what style it is. What matters is what's the energy, because that's the science. That's how energy works. Energy doesn't care what country you're from. It doesn't care how old you are. It doesn't care what sex you are. What it matters is, are you following the principles of how energy works? And that's it. And that's what we teach. It's indifferent. You can come from any martial art style, and you can make it better because of where you move your energy.
Absolutely. That I think that's the beautiful thing about what we do is we're not saying, yo, if you like karate, you like, you know, it doesn't matter, whatever style that you're doing. We're not saying you have to get rid of that. We just want to show you how to improve upon what you already are doing.
So the energy,
physics, and principles. And if you want to learn the other stuff we're doing, like Tai Chi and Qigong and stuff like that, or using training, it's just going to increase everything that you're already doing. That's the beauty of what we do. We're not saying we're better than this or we're better than that. We're saying let us enhance what you're already doing and take what you love and make it even better. Catherine wants to know.
If you're finding you have problems with what you do.
Right. Catherine says, is the information about booking the seminar hotel special rate posted? No, I have been waiting for that, and I just got it last night, Catherine. So I am going to put it on the seminar page, as well as I'm going to post about it in the weekly update. So after this lovely webinar, I will get that information on the seminar page for you, Catherine, and I will put a reminder as well in the email for the Friday update. That will be going out later today. So great question. Tuan says, is it too late for a 55-year-old to study Ngo Dac Na system? No, it's never too late. If you're breathing, you can move, you are good to go. My nephew is
56. I think it would be too late.
No, that's not true. Stop.
I'm just kidding.
We have people that started with us in their 70s. I'm joking and not joking at all. Like 70-some years old. We have, I think, maybe even a couple 80-year-olds that are with us as well. It's never too late to learn and grow and to become a better version of yourself. He says, my nephew is 6 years old. Is it too early for him?
No.
Kid, but most likely not. If the kid is open and willing,
the most important thing is their maturity to learn.
Yeah.
You know, people always ask me, what's the youngest you teach? I said, I can teach from 5 or even 4, and it depends on their mental state. You know, if I'm teaching them, they're like, right. Obviously they're not ready yet.
Crying every time they walk in the door. No.
Yeah, if they're ready to learn and they can listen and they can practice what you teach them, yeah, absolutely. At 6 years old, My cousin, when I met her, she was 3 years old, and she was like the most mature person I've ever seen for a 3-year-old. I would say she could have a conversation with you like she was like 20 years old. I was like, and she's 3? Oh my gosh. She was just an amazing, very mature kid at 3 years old. I've never seen anyone that mature in my life at 3 years old. So it comes down to the maturity of the child.
Absolutely. He also says, what is the best age to learn to become a Sifu? Any age that you want to, because when a Sifu's master started out in his later years. Can you share that story?
I started teaching at the age of 18, and I became a Sifu at 19.
Right.
So I was very, very young. At that young age, people came in and like, how old are you? Like, what can you teach me? Like, how are you going to beat me up? And it was a very long, I was like, and I always told myself, like, in 20 years, I won't have to deal with this problem. In 20 years, when I'm like 30, I won't have to deal with this problem no more. Now I'm 28, so I got 2 more years to go. So
45.
45 years of
46 in September.
But anyways, at 19 years old, I was teaching. So it's all about understanding how to break down. Teaching isn't about fighting. Teaching is about knowing how to break down that art to pass it along. Now, obviously, you need to have good teaching. Be a good teacher is great, but if you don't have good teaching material, then it's bad. So you need to have good teaching material, and then if you have that, you have to know how to break it down to pass it along to your students. So those are the requirements of being a good teacher. Having the art that's good, to be able that somebody wants to learn from, and then know how to break it down that they can achieve it. That's what a teacher is. Okay, a teacher is not necessarily he has to be the best fighter in the world. You take boxing coach. These boxing coaches can teach people how to box, but they're not the best boxer because they're just older. Like in Rocky, he was old. He knew how to box, but he wasn't the best boxer in the world anymore because he was old. So it's not about fighting. It's about learning how to pass on your knowledge that you can improve upon someone and know how to break it down so they can.
And can you share real quick there? One of your teachers started off way later in life, and
oh yeah,
one
of my Tai
share
Chi
that because I want to show people like it's really never too late. You become a Sifu when people start wanting to learn from you and want to start paying you for your time and honoring the fact that you're helping them.
One of my Tai Chi teachers, he started when he was like 42 years old. He learned Tai Chi, and he said he was learning for the health of it. He did it because he was overweight, and his doctor said you have to lose weight because it's unhealthy for you at this at your age, and you need to lose that weight. So he's took up Tai Chi, and he did it only for the exercise, and he started getting very good at it. And his teacher says, after like he said like he was there for like 10 years, teacher says, now you're ready. I can teach you the combat system. And he was like, okay. And he learned the combat. He was a very, very powerful guy. I mean, I was very impressed with him. He was very, very good, very powerful, very, very strong. And he was very tiny, but he was so powerful. And he basically learned the martial arts really at the age of 50 in terms of the combat style. He did it when he was 42, he said, but after 10 years, that's when he learned the combat style. And when I met him, he was like 68. So, but he was very powerful. He did it. And being a teacher, like I said, is about passing your knowledge to someone else. That's what a teacher is. A teacher does not have to be a fighter, like I said. I could be a math teacher, teaching math and pass that along. That's what a teacher is. A teacher is not martial arts teacher. A teacher is someone who has a knowledge that someone can use and pass it along and keep it going. That's what a true teacher is. So you can be a teacher at any age. As parents, we are teachers. We guide our children, we raise them, and we try to teach them to do the best we can. Some are great parents, some are not. Some are great teachers, some are not. So it's all about learning how to. It's about learning how to pass that knowledge, have the patience, and be understanding, and knowing that if they're trying, that to be patient and help them along.
Absolutely. And Rob, I actually just asked, what does become a Sifu mean? That's exactly what it means right there. So hopefully that will help you out. It just means when you're a good teacher and you're able to pass on knowledge, then you are a Sifu.
Yeah, just remember this. A teacher cannot be a teacher without a student, and a student cannot be a student without a teacher. They are synonymous. They need to work together, right? I wouldn't want to teach a lousy student, and I, as a student, want a lousy teacher. So they work synonymously. And a good teacher is one who cares about his students and one who is looking out for the best of them. And we don't want to hold back, want them to excel, give them all that they got so they can not just learn it all, but grow from that and make it better. That's a hope of any good teacher, that they can pass along their skills and their knowledge and hope that they can keep that art alive and actually improve and make it better.
Absolutely.
And repeat that.
Absolutely.
Like shampoo, rinse, wash,
Rinse.
repeat.
Right. Tuan says, how many hours per day should we practice Ngo Dac Na if we want to become like Sifu Ngo? Well, I hate to break it to you. Hold on. You probably hear Sifu Larry cracking up in the background. Okay, so I need to bust a myth right now. If any of you are expecting yourself to somehow surpass or get to where Sifu Phu
You
is
can.
right
Don't go over that fallacy. You can. It's about dedication
right.
and commitment to doing it.
But he'd have to stop training, is what I'm saying. He'd have to stop training today, and then you can get to where he is now and surpass him at some point in time. But if he keeps training and perfecting his craft, you're probably not going to catch up to him. But don't let that deter you, because Sifu Larry, who's back here behind the magical wall, is really, really amazing in his own stuff. So you'll be the best version of you. So it's not about trying to be as good as Sifu or better than Sifu. It's about becoming the best version of you as a martial artist. And that journey is going to be a lifelong journey. You're not going to ever be like, yes, I am here and I never have to train again. It's always going to be training and growing and moving on. So I think a better question would be, what should someone do to become the best version of themselves? How many hours a week ideally should they get in with dedicated training?
There are a few things that makes a martial artist a good martial artist. Okay, one, it's a dedication to practice. Okay, it's just knowing how to practice. Two, there's a natural tendency to get and learn. Some people learn faster than others. You know, I saw an article on Jet Li one time, and they were saying, you know, he's a gifted martial artist and this and that. And he actually was very upset. He said, you know, I get very upset when people say that because I'm not gifted. He goes, I trained very hard to what I got. And when people just say it was a gifted, like I didn't work hard to get where I got, I get very upset with it because I'm not a gifted martial artist. I just dedicated myself to be very good at what I did. I practiced 8 to 10 hours a day. That's what he said. He's like, I get very upset because people think that they blow away that my dedication to practice, to honing my skills. And they say it's just something that I'm good at because I was born with it. And he said I wasn't. I worked hard. I wasn't the best, but I worked hard to become that. And so that is one thing that makes you very good. Okay. Now the other thing is the natural gift to learn how to pick up things. You know, some people can practice 2 hours and get it, and some people need to practice 2 years to get it. So to get same technique. So, but it doesn't matter. The goal is it's a journey. What we talk about. It's not the destination. It's the journey through it. So that matters. Then the other thing is your personality behind it. You know, are you one who's very like, I can't believe I've worked on this for 3 minutes. I still didn't get it. I'm so upset. And that's going to deter you. You know, I always joke around with my students. I do a technique that's very, very hard. And I go, yeah, it was the longest 3 minutes of my life to get this, you know. And I joke around, but it took me months. It took me time. I had to, and one of the biggest things when you're training is stop trying to get it. Start trying to feel it. You know, people always are trying to get to the end result. And I tell them, stop thinking of what you want and start feeling of what it is. You know, when you learn music, the first thing you learn to do is you learn to follow a beat with a metronome. You know, you don't try to do it on your own unless you're gifted, like I said. But most people, they have to follow a metronome. Eventually, they get good. They understand the keys. They develop a personal clock in themselves, and they learn how to move within that. So, you know, you got to be patient. You got to learn not to rush it. Everybody blooms at their own time. Everybody blossoms at their own time. And believe it or not, to tell you the truth, to get to the level I was, honestly, 10 years ago, in my mind, I was like, I'm going to be like 60 when I get it. I never thought I'd get it at my age. I put it in my mindset that, yeah, I'll get there, but I'll be 60 when I do. That was my actually thought in my head. Like, I'm not going to get till I'm 60. I'm not going to get to what my grandfather did till I'm like 60 years old. So, but I I just practiced and my body got it. I mean, I can't say, but I can say that I never rushed it. I felt it. I worked on feeling. I worked on my techniques. I worked on precision and control. I worked on most of, like I said, on the feel of it, not on the movement of it. I didn't get caught up in, I just got to do this. And put my mind in trying to put it as, I got to feel, oh, I got to get this. I emptied my mind. I felt my energy, and then I let that energy grow. And that's how I got to where I was. So, like, again, my mindset was, when I'm 60, I'll get it. I'm 30 now, but when I'm 60, I'll get it. But it just came. It's like the best thing I tell you is, like, when did you learn to speak English? At what age did you learn to speak English? No one can really say when, because it was like, as you were growing, you're just learning. And at what age is it that you learned to speak English? And it's the same kind of thing. Like, when did you become good? You're always good. It's just a matter of who are you comparing it to. You compare it to a 3-year-old kid. After a year, you're probably like, yeah, I'm a master. Compared to a 20-year-old, a 20-year Tai Chi master, you're like, I'm just a baby. So it's a matter of relevance as well. But be satisfied where you are and know that you always can grow to get better. And that's what my view is all the time. I can grow to get better. That's why I still train. That's why I still study. That's why I still focus on my energy and stuff like that. Because I can always get better. There's a saying, once you think you know it all, you do know it all. Because once you believe you know it all, you want to learn. You don't want to learn from anyone else. So you're at your pinnacle point of learning. So humble yourself. Know that there's always things that you can do to get better. And you will if you practice and commit to yourself. And those are the qualities of what to get good is. Okay. One of my students, JP, actually just texted me last night and said, I started getting the finger thing. I started getting the finger troll. People were doing it, and I actually was starting able to move their energy. But the bigger, stronger people I couldn't do. But the people who were my size, I could actually start to move their energy. I felt that they couldn't move me. And I was like, awesome. Thank goodness they got it. Now start perfecting it until you can handle stronger people. So it's just a matter of a little bit at a time, little growth, little growth, little growth. And you'll get there eventually.
Do the best you can, when you can, and how you can. We get a lot of questions about this, like, all the time. Like, okay, well, what if I can't train, like, 20 hours a week or 10 hours a week or whatever? When you have time to train, you train. And then when you're not physically training, like that dedicated time, always be thinking about these principles in your mind and how you can do them in your daily life. When you're driving your car, when you're playing with your kids, when you're at work, typing at a computer or whatever. All these principles that we're teaching with physics and energy apply to your everyday life too. So you can be training on a regular basis, even if you don't have time to sit down and watch a video and go work on a technique. So just do the best you can when you can, and we'll all work itself out, I promise you.
In training, you can always train, okay?
Yeah.
You can always train. Driving a steering wheel, for example. I'm sitting in a car. Don't sit like this and go like this. Sit, get your posture, get your energy, get your elbow, get your wrist on point. When you turn, use your wrist to turn. You can always train. I used to pump gas for several years, and I did my footwork for him every time I walked out to the car. I would circle step, I would T-step, I would side step. People would look at me like, what are you doing? I was like, oh, nothing. What can I get you for your gas? I would just blow it off. But I trained 24 hours. If I walked, I'm training. If I'm picking up a pen, I'm training. I tell people all the time, be careful, because you could train, let's say you're doing your form, and then you go pick up your keys and you raise your shorts. You just develop a bad habit. Pay attention to your everyday life, because your bad habits occur when you're not thinking about your training. And you could like lean to pick up a pencil or lean to pick up your keys, and you're now creating bad habit. And you're like, I've been training not to do this. How can I keep doing it? Because your daily habit that you don't pay attention to can be bad. You can be leaning to pick up stuff. You can be slouching on your walk, but then you train, you're upright. But then when you're sitting here like this. So all these things, you got to make into your habit. So you could train to correct your body control all the time. You might not train in terms of your punching 24 hours, but you can train your body control 24 hours, 24/7. Even when you're sleeping. Posture, right? Lay back, sit on your back, shoulders down. Make sure the pillow's not making where your neck is higher than your body. So one of the tests that I learned is use towels, fold the towels up, put your head on the towel, take a deep breath. If your body's arcing back, the towel's not high enough. If you put too much towel and you take a deep breath and you're slouching forward, the towel, there's too much height in the towel. Remove the towel or unfold the towel to where you can take a deep breath and your body's not arcing back or forward. That means you're in the perfect alignment. You'll sleep a lot better because of that. Just a little tidbit for you. You're on mute. You're on mute. You're on mute.
Sorry, I thought I clicked unmute and it did not work, apparently. Thank you. So Karthik says the demo about the tactical pen for self-defense was awesome, and we think so too. We thought that was really fun, and we're going to be doing a lot more with that as well, because it's definitely something that's simple to carry around and have with you. And he says he once got scolded by a person in a railway station when he did the circle step. He thought that he was crossing him and he had to apologize. It happens. Just be aware of your space. Pay attention to your surroundings and you'll be all right. Twan says, how long did it take you to train to become the Sifu you are now? And he means how many years and how many hours per day?
When I was in training, I would train anywhere from like 4 to 5 hours a day in terms of my actual training. I would go into my forms first. I would play my forms, feel it. Again, it was for the feel of the form. Then I would practice just specific parts of movements. So, for example, like if I was doing like a parry punch, like I would practice going like this and practice like this, and I would just get to that point and like kind of like a mime. I just hit my points instead of going like this and feel like I feel like I'm just kind of pushing. I just hit to the point and stop, and I would hit to the point and stop, hit to the point and stop, and feel. And as I started doing that, I found the connection from one transition to the other, and I would start getting the flow of it and everything like that. And that's how I did a lot of my training. I did a lot of energy control. For example, like even when I was laying down, getting ready to go to bed, I would open my palms, I would lay down, I would actually feel my heartbeat. I got to the point where I could feel my pulse. I could feel it in my hands, I could feel it in my feet, I could feel it in my heart, I could feel my thighs, I could feel my legs. I would empty my mind and just feel my beat in my heart. And I could actually start, like I said, I could feel the pulse sensate through my fingers and my toes and my legs all at the same time. It was a really cool feeling. It still is. So again, I constantly thought martial arts. It was at the point where I was constantly thinking about that. I actually would sleep. I would I actually move. I could recognize, even though I was sleeping, I could tell I was moving that way. I knew I was. And so it was always that way. Even some of my friends did jokes when I was sleeping, trying to attack me, and I actually locked them out, even in my sleep. It was just became very natural. My body just moved this way specifically. I trained my body to move a specific way, and so it just did.
Good stuff. So Russell wants to know, he wants to know more about the credits towards certification. He sent in 2 questions, so I'm going to just kind of paraphrase. Just in general, he wants to know about what a quick overview, the requirements, the hours, and so on and so forth. He wants to know about each level, but we're going to just do level 1 right now, because we haven't fully laid out level 2 and level 3 yet, which is why. But level 1, I'll talk about the prereq because I know about that. And I'll let Sifu cover basically what you would learn and know to be able to be certified and what you'd be able to teach at a level 1. So for level 1, the prereq is 3 seminars that are full Enter Shaolin seminars. So the one we're doing in Washington, D.C. is a full Enter Shaolin seminar, or being able to do private training, which would be less hours because you're obviously getting that one-on-one. So you can come and train here too, or you can come to the seminars, or you can do a combination of the both. So
or you can pay us to go out there.
Right. There's other options too.
If you got money.
Yeah, if you have lots of money and you want to pay, us to come out and help train you, there's that option as well. So there's different options for different people. But if we're talking about via the seminar, it would be 3 full seminars, and then you would be ready to start testing for the certification. Basically, we wanted to make sure that when you go through this process, that when you do go to take your certification, that you feel confident about it. You already know, like, all right, I've worked on this, Sifu, Larry helped me correct this, and Sifu helped me correct this, and I know what I'm doing now. And that way you go into it confidently, and we'll work through the whole weekend, because that's going to be like a weekend retreat for the certification 1, and then 2 and 3 as that time goes on later. But obviously, as each level progresses, there's going to be a bigger gap in between that process, because obviously with a level 2 you're going to be required to know more, and a level 3 you're going to be required to know more, and stuff like that. So Sifu, can you talk a little bit about what a level 1 certification, some of the stuff that they should know or should be working on, I should say, and what they would be able to teach at the end of that?
Okay, first off, level 1, the first thing that I you have to learn that. I want you. It's structural integrity. You have to know how to keep your body structure from collapsing under pressure. If you find a weak point, for example, holding your arm, somebody pushing, you feel like pulling you backwards, then your shoulder's not driving to the elbow. You have to know your three proof. That's one of the fundamental cores of the Ngo Dac Na, getting three proof down. So you have to get your structural integrity down. That's one of the most important things you have to have, because that is how you're going to grow from that into your next levels, and like learning how to move energy, know how to channel, know how to direct energy. Without the three proof, you can't do that. So that's one of the most important things that you have to have. The second thing is you have to learn your basic interception points. So you have to know how to intercept someone's arm. You're not pushing, you're not throwing, you're not extending, you're not collapsing. You have to know how to hit point. So all the parries that we teach through the 6 types of punches, with the straight rounds and the low punches, you're going to have to learn how to intercept them and know how to handle the pressure. So, it's good that you know knowledge, but if you can't perform it, no one's going to want to learn from you. Like, oh yeah, you can do it. Like, I can't do it yet. Well, I don't understand what I'm doing, but I can't do it. You have to be able to achieve it. You have to be able to handle the pressure and know how to control that pressure. So that's the level 1s that you teach, that you have to learn, that I teach, that you have to be able to create structural integrity. You have to know how to handle the pressure control. You have to know how to hit the point, to learn to move the basics, to just basically change its directional force and learn how to attack. Okay, our principles, we don't teach you to defend, we teach you how to counterattack. So you have to know how to create intercepting point to attacking points. So you're either going to have to learn to counterattack at that moment, or you have to learn how to attack within that moment. So those are the fundamentals, basic 101. You have to learn how to create, obviously, body control, like learn how to kick without losing, like kicking. You have to know how to find your root. You have to know how to generate the power. So you have to do all that. You'll learn some basic techniques on like the entry techniques, how to get in. Like I said, learn how to attack or counterattack. So these are all fundamental principles of what you have to learn at a level 1. You have to understand that, our principles, we don't teach to defend. We teach counterattack or attacking techniques. So you're going to have to learn the basics of knowing what your entry points are. So, for example, like the pack doors, the entries, the pack lap doors, you learn these basic entry techniques. And then as you get better, you learn how to do it in combination forms. And that's like level 2. You learn how to mix it. You learn how to handle like a straight punch with a hook punch, how to deal with the intercepting point, and then know how to handle it, come in, and learn how to mix like 3 to 4 moves in under a second. Those are like a level 2 type of thing. You have to learn how to extend basically what your level 1 is and add to that. So that's what, your growth will be like from level 1 to level 2. You're not going to just ignore what level 1 was. You're going to extend what level 1 was into a far greater capacity. So instead of learning how to 2 times, you're going to have to hit 5 times. Instead of 2 times in 1 second, you have to build to 5 times in 1 second. You're going to have to learn how to understand where points are in the body, where they're vulnerable, knowing how to hit into that, knowing how to not just use your fist now. Now you have to learn how to use the ways of your wrists, how to enter in through the points using your wrist control, and you have to learn how to use your forearms. Those are the growth that what you do. So basically, level 1 is your hand techniques. Then level 2 will be your forearm techniques. And then level 3 would be like within grappling to anti-grappling technique, knowing how to handle that. So those are your growth that you want to play by, levels of range. So all these things that you will learn at level 1 would be within like a long range to introduction to mid-range. And then like level 2 will be mid-range, heavily in mid-range into close quarter range, introduction close quarter. And then the level 3 would be very close quarter into, into the grappling, anti-grappling, to the striking, not just your hands, your forearms, your elbows, your shoulders, learning how to channel energy, all those stuff that you would learn at a high level. And they require, your sensitivity to be high. They require your technique to be high. So at level 1, you learn the techniques. You learn, understand how to create your structural integrity and how to move within that technique. And then you learn you learn basic sensitivity, for example, know how to divert energy in the parry. That's a very fundamental basis of what sensitivity and technique combined would be. And then like later on, you learn how to do sensitivity in motion, like somebody grab you, pull your arm down, pull your arm up, and try to move you. And those are the higher builds that you would learn. So basic 1, like I said, hands, like long range to mid range introduction. You would learn how to do your entry points, contact points, to learn how to hit points to control it, learn how to create counterpoints to strike, or a basic striking. All in a nutshell.
Awesome. Thank you for that great overview, Sifu. So let's see. We have, I don't have their name, but they sent in an email to us, and they basically wanted to know, what is the most effective way of learning and applying the Gun Sao?
What's the way to apply it? or learn it? Well,
Yeah,
learning
that's
is like
what you're
everything.
learning and applying.
Three proof is a learning, okay? Shoulder, elbow, wrist, knowing how to hit your points. Knowing that, I always like to say, place it, don't chase it. Don't get into the notion that you have to go after someone. Just hit your points. I always say it's always about the point, never about the motion. These are your principles of knowing for all intercepting points. In terms of what it's for, gun salves are basically when you don't know whether it's high or low, so you learn how to protect your zones between your waist to your face. So that's what it's for. If I'm not sure what a punch comes, like if I don't know where a punch may come, like for a boxer, they don't know where it's coming from. They either will duck and dodge and just try to avoid the whole thing, or they'll cover up and just protect. Gun salves is like that. But you're not covering up. You're actually going to move and just cover to the points. You're not going to cover it where you're absorbing. You actually don't want to absorb energy because a strong punch can actually knock you over. So you're going to learn how to use your courage to create hitting points. So like everything we do, we create hitting points. You're intercepting points. I always like, you're not playing receiving hands, you're initiating hands. So you have to learn how to move into hits, like small bursts is what we want to work on. So I'm doing a gun salve. You can see here. I'm going to go gun, hit to point, hit to point, hit to point. I'm not going and moving away. That's wrong technique, okay? I want to learn how to move into and root my body, get the shot, get the energy to come up and forward. So any interception point, I create structure so I don't collapse, but the upward is so any force that he puts on me gets redirected where I don't feel like to fight to maintain my stress. Excuse me. The stress. I don't want to strain. I don't want to feel like I have to fight to maintain that hold. I want to be able to move the difference so I don't have to fight for it. I would just be able to control it. And then by moving it, I can manipulate it.
Thank you, Sifu. Russell said, great breakdown of the certification levels. Thank you, Sifu and CJ. Thank you, Russell, for asking. That was a great question. So we have a couple more questions, and we're going to run a few minutes over. So we're just going to ask that no one else send any more questions in. If you do have a question that you think of last minute, email me at support@entershaolin.com, and we will get you covered next week. Michael says, a side kick like section 3 of the jong, I find difficult. Can you recommend one good stretch exercise that would help?
Now, in section 3, it's kind of a low kick. So if you have a hard time reaching that level, that means you're very unflexible. So you need to start stretching, okay? Side-to-side stretch is one of the easiest things. So I'll show you. I'll move the laptop real quick. So for the sake of learning side kicks, okay, one of the things that you can do is just, okay, see it? You can just kind of like draw from the side and drop and shift your hips over. That'll get you to stretch from the side like this, and just do this and side stretch and put your pressure down on the hip. Don't put your weight over here. Although you shift your weight here, you're going to put your pressure here and just stretch into that. And you'll feel that stress and you'll feel the stretching. I want to put the weight on my hip. So I want to move my hands down to the hip. That's a basic way of stretching you out. The other way you can do is like if you can get like a chair and you can put your leg up on the side, you can just kind of like, this is low because I don't have a chair, but you can see I can go like this. I'm just going to put it like this. And I'm just going to kind of shift my weight into it, bend my knee down, and you see it's starting to change the angle. So you can do that. Now, if the knee is going down too much, you're going to have to bring your leg up a little bit higher. So get a chair that's got a good height for you, that you can find that you put your legs up very comfortably, and that's good for you too. So that's some of the basic ways you can stretch. The other way is just hold yourself on a chair and just kick your leg straight up to the side. That'll work too. So there's all kinds of exercises you can do. Just make sure that you're creating that stretch for that range that you want. Now, like I said, section 3 is a very low kick. It's supposed to kick around the knees to the thigh, low thigh. So if you're like finding that's a very hard kick to do, you're either very unflexible or you have very tight hips, which you need to stretch, or your balance is off and that's throwing away your ability to kick. So you got to find and make sure that you're rooted. If you're like, I can't keep falling, it's not because of your flexibility, or it might be, but it's also that you can't not getting your root and you're leaning. So I don't see it, so I don't know. But make sure that you are driving your energy from your hip, like the 3-proof hip, knee, ankle. Turn your hip into the point. Don't lean your head over. If you're trying to kick and you lean your head over, you're going to find it's very hard to kick because your energy is actually going to your head, moving the side. You're not driving to your leg. So those are some of the things that you got to watch out for.
Yep. And I would say the 10 basic Qigong exercises will help with all that stuff too. So it'll help with your flexibility a little bit, also help with your range of motion and being more stable and rooted and all that fun stuff. So that's a great exercise to do. Amar says, training continually is okay, but is there any principles of rest? In my childhood, my teacher used to say, rest for 36 hours to reap the benefit. How do you, as a Sifu, take breaks?
Well, that depends on what kind of training you do, okay? Your body's able to work every day. It just depends on what kind of stress level you do. If you're lifting weights where you're breaking your muscles down, yeah, you need to rest because you need recoup time for that. But if you're doing exercise like when you're doing Qigong exercises type of that, you can do that every day because that's actually building the body up through relaxation and blood flow. So that you can do every day. Again, it depends on what kind of workout you are doing. It also depends on your diet and depends on who you are. Those things make a factor. Some people need 3 days to rest. Some people need only a few hours, like kids. For example, they run around all day for hours. I mean, like, when will this kid ever stop? 3 o'clock in the morning, they're tired, they sleep. 4 hours later, they wake up and they do the same thing. Like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. So, when you're young, you got all this energy. And then when you get older, if you're not active, you're like, oh, I'm so tired. But again, comes down to your activity level of what you're doing and your diet. Your diet is very important to you as well. That's how your body gets nutrients. That's how you feel alive during the day. You feel tired during the day. Stress level is another thing. What causes you to stress is going to break your body down. That's where the Qigong is good. The Tai Chi is good. It allows you to actually calm your mind and your body. And those things you can do every day. But if you're doing physical labor where you're lifting heavy weights all day, yes, you do need to take a break because it is really physically tearing your muscle fibers down, and you need time for that to build up. But again, diet can help speed that up. Rest will build that up. The breathing exercises, the Qigong exercise. Remember, blood is the healing factor of the body. So the more blood you can get into your body, into the part that's damaged, the faster you can heal. If you barely get blood, you can't heal quick. So if you're stressed, you're restricting your blood flow, you're actually going to take longer to heal. But if you can relax and you can move the energy the way you need to, you actually will heal a lot faster.
So, absolutely. Yeah. So
yeah. That all varies. But general rule is at least 1 day of rest. If you're very exhausted, I just feel tired. Your body can tell you, but your body's telling you what's wrong. It's not going to tell you what to do right. That's something that you have to train, understand what exercise you do, your diet, what kind of rest you need. All that stuff is going to come down to you learn how to listen to your body and then getting the right answers to do what you need. So the right answer is always do your Qigong and Tai Chi. It's very beneficial for you. It, like I said, it relaxes the mind if you're mentally stressed, and it relaxes the body as well. But not just relax the body, it sends blood into the body, to the parts like your fingers, your legs, your thighs, your back, your head. And blood is the healing factor of your body. Okay, there's life in the blood, so you need that. So do the Qigong exercise every day. It's good for you. It's very good for you. If you can have time to do Tai Chi, do that. It's very good for you. But when you're working out heavy, give yourself that rest too. The Tai Chi's help because they're helping the blood, but you also need the rest and you need to eat right.
Absolutely. Yeah. Everything that Sifu said, our creator said, work for 6 days and rest on the 7th. So that's what I do. I do that. And usually with my rest, like Sifu said, I will still do Qigong and I will still do things like Tai Chi or maybe even like yoga stretches because they're nice, simple, they're relaxing. They're not stressful and strainful on the body. But I do weightlifting as well with my regular training. And there's sometimes I need 2 days off. So I just listen to my body. If my body says I need an extra day off, I honor my body. And guess what? I can get back up going and not get injured and be a better version of myself. So just listen to your body, pay attention. If you feel like you need to take 3 days off, then take 3 days off. But if you need to take 3 days off, you might have overworked yourself previously to that. So really pay attention to what you're doing, how you're doing. Make sure your form's good, whether you're weightlifting or doing our exercises in the core training. Just pay attention to what you're doing. Over time, it'll increase and you'll get better. And like Sifu said, make sure your diet is really clean. Eat good, healthy foods. It's going to help you repair. It's going to help you be energized and stay less stressed out. So all of those things are good. And we have one more question from
real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
Remember, listen to your body, not your emotion. There are times when I would
don't listen to the flesh.
There would be times I would train every day, and there would be times like I don't want to do it, but that's not my body saying it. That was my emotion saying it. That was me being lazy. But I commit to doing it because You know, just because you go, I don't feel like doing it, that's not necessarily your body saying, I can't do it. That's your emotion saying, that's you saying, I don't want it. So you're finally, yeah, I feel kind of tired, so I'm not going to do it. But remember, listen to your body, not your emotions, because you can talk yourself out of it, even though your body can. So I trained every day. Every day. I would train for like, I trained for like 7 days a week, and I did for like 10 years without, not one day did I miss. I did never miss one day in 10 years of training. So, and then would be tired, like, I don't want to do it. But if I go to bed, my body actually woke me up because I knew I didn't do it. I couldn't sleep right, so I had to wake up and train because I could not sleep unless I did it. So, listen to your body, but not necessarily your emotion. Yeah. Know the difference between the two.
Yeah, listen to that inner still the voice. If you know deep down inside, like you've overworked yourself, and if you train, you're going to probably injure yourself, it's time to rest. But if you're just being lazy, that's a whole nother story. Absolutely. So we have one more question that we're going to cover. Or actually, well, there's two from Russell. He says, is there anything in particular that I need to bring to the seminar besides the workout attire? No, just bring yourself, be ready to train, good positive attitude in mind. That's it.
I like mangoes.
He also says, will you have any store items there, like the clothing, t-shirts, etc. for sale? Most likely we will. It's just really a matter of if we have the funds to be able to order enough sizes and different varieties. But you can order your stuff anytime from entershaolin.com/shop. So if you want to be prepared ahead of time and have a hoodie and t-shirts or whatever else that you want, make sure that you go there in advance. I would say order at least a couple weeks in advance, unless you want to do rush processing, which will cost you extra money, which who wants to do that? And just go to entershaolin.com/shop and go ahead and pick out your stuff and get it ready to go. But we will try to have some of them. I just don't know how much or what we'll be able to bring, because it's really a matter of being able to put that up front. And it's already going to cost a lot to put on the seminar. So we'll see. God willing, we'll have some with us. He says he's going to bring some mangoes for you. Russell's going to bring mangoes. That's good. I want some mangoes too. We all like mangoes, so that'll be yummy. All right, family, thank you so much for being on, whether you joined us live on the webinar or you're watching this on the replay later on Facebook or YouTube. If you have any questions about anything that's been covered here, you can always reach us at support@entershaolin.com. If you have questions for next week, also email us there. If you want to check out our seminar and what it's all about, go to entershaolin.com/seminar, and we will see you all next week. Sifu, go have fun with your wife.
Thank you.
All right, bye everyone.
Bye.
Have a great weekend.